next thing that people are going to end up being worried about on the scale of COVID-19. It's going to be a lot different because you recall COVID-19
wasn't real.
Well, not only was it not real, it kind of spared a lot of kids. You know, I think that was the only silver lining, is they were like, it doesn't look like that's why people were getting so up in arms about schools instituting mask mandates. You could kind of understand that, but, you know, children do go to school with adults. Those are the teachers, the administrators, and things like that, and kids are always sick with something. But Ohio is the first state in the United States to be dealing with white lung pneumonia, which I guess is an especially harsh and antibiotic resistant thing that's coming over. Europe and China have already seen a huge surge in cases. Massachusetts says that they have it now. But Warren County outside Cincinnati was the first American outbreak so far of white lung syndrome that is affecting younger children. They're seeing a lot of kids in the pediatric ER because of this.
What is it?
You start singing Creed.
I mean, it's like pneumonia. It's like coughing and wheezing and
yeah. That's how it initially presents. Now they say that, you know, and this is kind of the initial reaction, is they go, hey, nationally, there's nothing we're seeing that's out of the ordinary. But you could have said that in the early days of COVID, too. Yeah, it's fine. We don't see a lot of cases of this. Yeah, not now you don't, but of course you can't predict the future.
Oh, I really don't want to do another pandemic.
I know. I don't have it. I don't have it.
Think of how prescient Chad Daniels' material is going to seem if another pandemic comes around. Well, listen, people who know what they're talking about say that it's very dangerous to extrapolate one county in Ohio to a country of 330 million people, which is absolutely true. But in the interest of vigilance, they haven't figured out what's triggering it down there outside of Cincinnati, and so they're still trying to get their hands around it.
Thanks a lot, Cincinnati.
In Massachusetts. Yeah, thanks.
Is it putting cinnamon in your chili?
They haven't ruled that out.
Just saying.
They can neither confirm nor deny that. But Warren County is it's not a huge area, but these are respiratory infections, which are, I guess, affecting kids more than anybody else. You know, COVID was affecting people who were kind of already
the olds,
not in great shape. Yeah, but it affected a lot of different people in many, many different ways.
Are the kids recovering okay? Like, how's that all going?
Hard to say. Neither outbreak is being caused by a novel pathogen, so nothing brand new. I mean, white lung syndrome, it's not like they're just discovering it. I mean, this is an existing thing, but they're trying to figure out why it blew up in Ohio and why it's blowing up in Massachusetts.
Oh, if it exists, and how come I've never heard of it?
That's a very good question.
If it's real, how come I've never Googled
it? It's a really, really good question. Maybe you should Google more random things.
I can't.
All right.
You can't Google the impossible, Alan. Open your eyes.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that White Lung, the band, did break up, because if this really explodes, you know, it'd be the same thing as a Corona beer, all the nonsense they had to go through.
Their sales went up.
Of the negative association. Corona beer? I think initially it did, but then they went way down. Once people were like, oh, this is going to, you know, at the beginning of COVID, everybody's like, this will be over in a month. Don't worry about it. 2 weeks, whatever. So something that they're keeping their eyes on. White lung syndrome. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, on the app there, thank you, because it's not always easy to do. But I'd like to know where people are listening if you do it out of state. We do have a lot of bureau chiefs in Massachusetts and down there near Cincinnati. Brian's in Dover, Delaware. Lori listens in Albuquerque. Holly and Paul are in Phoenix. Tiffany's in Harrisburg, PA. And Ty is a new listener in Bardstown, Kentucky.
Alan, podcast listener. I just recently did a rewatch of The Wire, second timer, and was really surprised this time around. It's been a couple years when I saw Delegate Watkins coming around playing his character, and I'm wondering if that's where you got your alias. Delicate Watkins from. Very clever, if indeed that is where it came from. Love me, love you, hate the show.
You know, I had this list of aliases, and I've offered one and all of them to Poundcake should he need to change his identity or whatever. And Delicate Watkins is one of my longtime aliases. But a lot of times I don't know, I don't remember where they came from. And she's absolutely correct. I made Delicate Watkins out of a character, Delegate Watkins. We were watching The Wire years ago. And I said to Gwen, this is a show about gangbangers banging and slanging, The Wire. They should have had a character named Delicate Watkins. And I put it on my list. So, yes, that is where I got it.
Nice.
Thank you for reminding me. Because I don't know how clever it actually is. But The Wire, other than that second season, boy, which really stunk. You know, The Wire.
Shipyard season.
Yeah,
it's hard to get through.
The Wire, you know, is always up there. People, a lot of people, critics and civilians, say that The Wire and The Sopranos are the two greatest television shows of all time, at least dramatic shows. And The Wire's pretty good, but boy, that sophomore slump, you really had to stay with it. And but a good show. I'd rather rewatch The Sopranos than rewatch The Wire.
Oh, I love The Sopranos. I never made it through The Wire. I did the first season, started the second season, and just it's such a trudge. I never made it through.
Well, it's still there. Maybe you go back and do it.
I gotta watch the Squid Games reality show.
You're watching that?
I did.
Really?
I watched the first few episodes.
Okay,
and then
didn't we do a story about that show losing a bunch of money and people like suing them for getting hurt and stuff?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister's fiance was watching it, and I was like, I thought they shut this down because a bunch of people got hurt.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't know, they're still going.
Like the first few episodes were, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
I don't understand the premise. I mean,
They
It's
play a
Squid
Squid Game, but they don't actually kill the people.
For $4 million, though.
but that
is
was the
prize.
hook of the show, is they get killed.
Right, but you can't do that. But they still, it's
You
still
get killed
interesting games.
emotionally,
Yeah.
mentally.
Killed emotionally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get so emotional.
Gwen's watching The Challenge. She likes that show a lot, where I guess it's past reality stars who come back and do a series of.
God, that's on MTV.
Yeah.
Oh wow, she must really just love. She must think about like her reality TV past, because that show is not good.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
don't.
not.
I don't know who any of the people are. She watches it. There's a couple of those
There's
shows
people
where
from Real World and Road.
Well, because
Rules.
there's a couple of the shows. She's watching one show because a friend of hers is on it. This guy, Johnny Fairplay, who used to be on...
he was on Big
He was on
Brother.
Survivor.
Survivor, yeah.
Right.
That's
So I only
So
know
she
that.
watches that because she knows him, but then she must know somebody on The Challenge. Like a couple friends of mine from years ago were in the early days of The Challenge and Road Rules, but they're not on that stuff anymore. This is a whole new breed of like just younger people that I don't know who they are. I mean, most of them seem to be British, but I don't know who they are.
I think anyone can get on it now. Before it used to be, that was like after you do Real World or after you do Road Rules, they want to keep you on TV. If you rate well, they'll put you on this show. And again, it's just at some foreign destination, and then it's a chance for them to win money.
It is funny to me, and you sent me the story, Cody, but it is funny how now they're coming knives out for the Golden Bachelor.
Why? What did he do?
Well, they're like, his past is different than what he said. I'm like, the guy's 71 years
They're
old.
trying to cancel him in his senior
But
citizen.
why? Like, could you just because I think
We're gonna
a
take
show
your
like
pension.
a show like The Golden Bachelor, which was not going to be controversial because these divorced and widowed women are not going to be screaming at each other and throwing drinks like the younger generation reality shows. So I think they got to a point where they were like, this is too sweet. We need to figure out some dirt on these people. But my understanding is that these shows, the people who are on these things are so heavily vetted.
That's why I think it's always a setup. I never believe, this is why I can't believe reality TV, because they really do build you up to tear you down.
It's still a television show.
But
They're going to
also the
produce it in
more-
a certain way. But the Hollywood Reporter put out this whole story about this woman who's like, he hasn't been single since his wife died. I lived with him. We were like, so what? He's 72 and they're like, he's not telling the whole truth.
Do you guys
Like, come
remember?
on.
Do you guys remember the one and only gay Bachelor show they had?
Okay, what?
Oh.
Bachelor show.
No.
It was called Finding Prince Charming, and they had it was like 30 dudes in one house fighting for the love of one other guy, and then at the end of the series,
This is the one that Lance Bass hosted?
yeah, and they
Okay, he produced it or something.
at the end of the series, they find out that he's an escort. And so he has to go on TV and do this big apology tour. Like, I'm sorry, I was escorting. I really needed the money for college. And he was like sending used condoms in the mail and stuff like that.
What?
Yes.
Is that a legit service where you can like mail your poop to people? Or you send them a potato
I
with their
guess
birthday on
that's
it?
what they were doing. Because it wasn't enough for him to send it. He had to like record himself doing it.
Wow.
So like all of these shows, like they're just, they vet them and they're like, oh, he has enough dirt where we can make it a salacious story if it doesn't rate well. And that's exactly what they did. Because no one watched that Finding Prince Charming show.
I didn't even know it was a show.
Exactly. It was on VH1. And all the dudes in the house, shocker, they were all banging each other, so they didn't even really care about the dude.
Right. I mean, what did you think was going to happen?
Dating shows don't work. It's like, why are we fighting for one dude when I have a plethora? I live with these people.
Like, you guys, we could all just, like, have sex. And they're like, oh, yeah. Like, why don't we do that?
Why are we... Well, you put a show together like that so you can tick that box. So the network can go, look, we did a gay dating show, all right? Now shut up. And it went exactly the way we thought it would. Everybody banged everybody else. We knew that's what it was going to be, but you guys complained. There was no gay dating shows. Sopranos is the best show ever about a garbage man. Oh, because he was in waste management, supposedly. Yeah, so Gwen watches that. You want to hear something from Jenna? Because Jenna's been leaving messages.
It's time for Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
Today seems like a good day for some Eric Clapton.
This has been Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
I mean, she ain't wrong about that, boy. There is never a bad day for some Eric Clapton. I know he's an old racist git now, but I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess he was always racist. But he's still a hell of a player. Boy.
What's this song?
Forever Man, baby. On the Buzzard.
Okay, yeah.
Great song. From Behind the Sun, I think. Right? Mid-'80s?
My favorite song of his, You Don't Like Anymore.
Tears in Heaven.
No.
Change the World.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listen to that song all the time.
I think my wife and
And I learned
ex-wife
my
and I danced to
lesson
that. Yeah,
one time.
Well, that was
came
his
in-
collab with Babyface. That was a very, very successful song for him.
Well, I came in singing it one time in Oak Tree. I was like, if
I like
and you whipped around and you were like, that was our wedding song.
You
And my
go,
first, I was
"No."
like, my bad.
Yeah.
I just heard it in the car.
I had not your fault. I had a visceral reaction to
You
it.
really did though, because you like never talk to anybody in that office, and I just came in humming it, and you were like, "What?" That's my wedding
Do
song.
not do that. Yeah, I wonder how Jenna crossed paths with Eric Clapton.
I like it's in the way that you use it.
It's a great song, too.
That's a great song.
Yeah,
Is that song about peanut butter?
it's
Yes.
from a movie. What movie?
I don't know.
Dirty Dancing,
No, it was the theme song to
Top Gun.
No,
Oh, Barney's Playhouse.
The Color of Money.
Oh,
It was the sequel to The Hustler. It was Paul Newman and a young Tom Cruise.
It's a good movie. I didn't realize that song was in it. I haven't seen that movie since I was probably 14.
It's the lead track on Clapton's August album, which is still to this day one of my... It's mid-'80s Clapton, which big fans of his consider to be kind of a fallow period, but I love that album. Front to back, August 1986. There's not a dud in the bunch, boy. It's Eric Clapton. It's Phil Collins playing the drums on every song. It's got a Tina Turner collab on it.
Wait, Color of Money was a sequel to The Hustler?
The Hustler, yeah.
The Hustler.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm thinking of The Sting. The Sting.
that's Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
Clapton and John Mayer have a song together, I think.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
He's racist. My penis is racist.
That's how they became good friends. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Crossroads is a John Mayer
Britney
original.
Spears?
No. It's off of his. I don't think it is. It's off of.
No, Crossroads is like a really
went
old
down
blues.
to the yeah.
No, that every blues guitarist ever has
played
that song. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's on. John Mayer put it on his the one album that came out in 2009. I'm friggin' blanking. Battle Studies. It was on there, which is obviously the first time I ever heard it. But there's a version of those two doing it together.
No, Cream with Clapton famously did a great version of it, but it's an old song.
This doesn't sound like it.
He probably did his own version. You're thinking of John Mayer covered the Bone Thugs and Harmony version.
No. I don't think so.
You don't think so? That's
No.
not the one?
Get to the
All
lyrics.
right.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, it's a Robert Johnson song.
Okay.
The guy
I
that
didn't
sold his
think it
soul to
was-
the devil.
I didn't think it was his original.
No. This is a song that white boys play to prove that they're down with the blues. John Mayer's no different.
And Freaks and Geeks is the song that Jason Segel had to play to volunteer for or to audition for a real band, and he could not play it.
What movie?
It was the series Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, Freaks and Geeks.
Great show. Great show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crossroad
John's,
Blues is the song, but they did his Crossroad.
his version's much slower
Yeah.
and way